Alright guys, I'm in my Cybertruck here, and I want to talk about a few Cybertruck kind of updates, some news. I've almost owned this truck almost 6 months. The end of this month, like in a couple weeks, it'll be 6 months. And I want to do a review video of that, so I don't want to like get into that right now. But just kind of overall, guys, this has been awesome. I probably only have about 5,000 miles on the truck. I haven't driven it, like, it's not like I'm not driving all the time. I have a Model Y that I drive a lot for like commuting stuff, but I drive this. I'll probably put 10,000 miles on it this year. You know, I've gone on a longer road trip, so I haven't done any like off-road or towing yet. Still want to be able to do some of that. But one thing that recently changed was if I go into the settings here and I look at the autopilot. So in the control panel autopilot, Tesla has removed my auto steer. So I don't have the full self-driving package on this. When I bought this truck, this is the all-wheel drive version, and it's a non-foundation series, so it didn't come with a full self-driving, so it just came with autopilot. Well, now I have no autopilot, and I'm hearing from some people in some forums that Tesla is giving a year's worth of full self-driving subscription because they're removing the auto steer on this. It seems weird that they're removing the auto steer on this, because auto steer would be right here and they'd be able to steer in the lane. That's really what autopilot is. Autopilot is adaptive cruise and it's steering in the lane. And so if it doesn't have that, I would obviously want to have full self-driving, or it needs to have some version of that, because not being able to steer for you really is kind of like when you're on the highway is kind of annoying if you have to, like, you know, you want it to steer for itself. That's what these cars can do. So I think it's cool that Tesla's doing this, but Tesla's giving this away like you're getting an email. I haven't got any kind of email on this yet, so I don't know if I have to contact them. I don't know if I should just wait. But for the last probably 2 or 3 days, I've noticed I haven't had the auto steer, and so I'm without it. So I guess I'll just kind of wait and see when the email comes. People are saying that you have to like subscribe first, and then it gets activated, or it like, it basically adds a year to your subscription or something like that. Now, one thing I have noticed, I have full self-driving subscription in my Model Y. It's a hardware 4 Model Y, 2024 Model Y, and the full self-driving works really well in that car. It's really getting to the point where you don't ever have to really interrupt it. I mean, it's driving itself pretty much, and I don't really have to intervene. So it's doing a very good job at that. The Cybertruck doesn't seem like it's doing as well, and the Cybertruck doesn't really share the same data with the Model Ys and the other cars, because this has this rear wheel steering, and so when it has the rear wheel steering, the steering dynamics and all of the data is kind of different. So from what I'm hearing is it sounds like Tesla really wants all these Cybertrucks on the road to be able to have full self-driving. That way they can optimize the software, they can optimize the driving dynamics of it, and make the full self-driving a lot better, a lot more useful, and try to get it closer to what the other cars are doing. So that makes sense. So Tesla can take away the auto steer, but if they can give me full self-driving for a year, that'd be cool. I was even considering like subscribing to it, because I really like that. I had a 3-month trial when I bought the truck at the end of 2024, and that went away. It's probably been a month and a half that I've been without that, and I've actually kind of missed that. Even though it's not as good as the Model Y, it still does work really well, and it would be cool if it can get better. So I'm hopeful to see that coming back, and getting a year of full self-driving would be awesome. Okay, another change that recently took place is Tesla is discontinuing the range extender that was promising like an extra 100 to 120 miles. It's like a big box that installs in the back of the bed. It takes up a third of the bed of the truck, but you're getting an extra, 120 miles of range, which would be pretty cool. Tesla wanted almost $16,000 for this, and when you reserved and ordered your truck, it was a $2,000 non-refundable payment for this. And I don't think we've heard how many people actually ordered this service or this product. I bet it wasn't that many. But those who ordered it are pretty disgruntled. If you go on the forums and things, people are really up in arms. They want to start a class action lawsuit. They want a refund on the truck. I mean, they're just, throwing a fit over this. I get it. Like, when I ordered this truck, I wasn't too concerned about the range extender, because if it's going to take up a third of the bed and it's going to cost $16,000, and it's going to add a lot of extra weight to the truck, so the efficiency is going to go down. It had to have been at least another close to 2,000 pounds. If I would say 1,500 to 2,000 pounds, it was going to probably at least weigh that. And if you're adding that much weight and you're carrying that around all the time, it didn't really make sense to me. It didn't seem like it was that good of a deal. That's why I went with the all-wheel drive version of the truck. 325 miles is the range. Now that Tesla's come out with the rear-wheel drive, that one's getting close to over 350 miles of range. I bet what they're doing is they're doing away with this range extender, and they're probably going to come out with a longer range version of the Cybertruck at some point. Maybe not in the near future, but in the future, we're going to see a longer range vehicle. If they could get one to like 400 miles of actual usable range, that would be, I don't think anyone would need to have any kind of range extender. They also need to expedite the building of superchargers that are accessible with trailers. That's the big downside with towing with this truck, is that if I'm towing a trailer, I don't mind if it only gets 100 miles of range, but I need to have chargers that I can stop at where I don't have to disconnect a trailer, that I can just pull in like I would a gas station pump and recharge it up. So that is a downside of towing with these trucks, and I think most people that were looking for the range extender were like, either going to do like a lot of off-roading, going to be far away from superchargers, and they're going to be towing, because when you're towing with this truck, it does very good at towing. It just, the range, it gets cut in half or less than that. Probably 100 miles would be realistic if I'm towing, 5, 6, 7,000 pound trailer that's got, a lot of wind resistance. That's really going to reduce the efficiency. It's really going to reduce the range down. That wouldn't be bad if I could easily pull into a supercharger station. And there's very few, like in the area that I live in and the routes that I'm traveling, if I'm towing, there's really no superchargers that are easily accessible for towing. I'd have to basically disconnect the trailer, pull into the supercharger, reconnect it, and that's going to add, another 20, 30 minutes every 100 miles that I'm driving. So that would be a big inconvenience. Whether the battery's full or empty, it weighs the same weight. So if you have a battery that holds 450 miles of range, like let's say in this truck, and I'm only driving 50 miles a day, total, I'm carrying around a lot of extra weight. It could be over 1,500 pounds of weight, and that's really going to kill the efficiency. So you're carrying around all this weight and you're not using the capacity. In a gas vehicle or a truck, the gas tank itself doesn't weigh that much. Let's say 50 pounds. They're plastic, right? And then diesel or gas doesn't really weigh that much either compared to the overall weight, maybe 300-400 pounds at most. When you're talking about an electric vehicle, you're talking about a battery that weighs 2,500 pounds or more. The new EV, the Chevrolet Silverado EV, I did a video on that a few weeks ago. That's a really interesting truck because in some trims and configurations, it can get up to 450 miles of range. It has a huge 212 kilowatt battery pack. That's almost 90 kilowatts heavier than this truck here. That's like the Cybertruck battery and a Model Y battery on top of that all together. I mean, it really is like a ton of weight, and that thing is not efficient at all. It's heavy. It's not getting like efficiency, but you can get, if you can get 420 miles of usable range, that's ideal, but it's using a ton of power. So I think their focus is like, let's make the vehicle as efficient as possible, not carry around all of this extra weight when you really don't need it. In order for that concept to really pan out, there needs to be more superchargers and there needs to be more towing accessible superchargers. And if that's the case, if the truck only gets 120 miles towing, that's fine. If there's a supercharger every 50 miles that I can pull into with a trailer, that's fine, right? So I think there needs to be more work on that front. The charging network needs to be beefed up, especially if you're going to be using these trucks like for towing. So I don't tow a ton. I hardly tow at all. I have an enclosed trailer and I haven't even towed it with this truck yet. So in 6 months, I probably will this summer. Kind of interesting that we have that they're doing away with the auto steer for the Autopilot customers, and the range extenders have gone away. Anyways, guys, I'm curious to hear what your opinion is on these range extenders. This is mine. I think it'd be cool if Tesla just focused on getting more chargers out there, more supercharging systems, and if they worked on just getting a little bit longer range Cybertruck. You know, if they get one close to 400 miles, they wouldn't need this bed extender. I wasn't interested in it, and I think it was kind of silly to take up a third of the bed to put a big battery pack in there. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.